a small introduction to what I do. I realize that as I post things, either small clips from one of the live streamed webinars that I do, sometimes I'll take a slice out of that and I'll put it on YouTube channel and there's something to do, just to throw it out there. And what I've found is that often taking something from a live stream is often people don't hear what the question was, or it just seems out of context and what have you. So what I've been doing lately is just doing some, like I'm doing now, just getting in front of the computer, just recording a small section, a beginning, a middle, of end, and creating it has its own context, a question or something I'm going to talk about. So that's what I've been doing lately. But also I realize also that I haven't really introduced myself. So a lot of people come on there, hear me talking about stuff and think, who is this guy? And basically I'm someone who, if I'm to introduce myself, I'm someone who had an awakening, what we call a spontaneous self-realization in 1999. And of course, at the time I was in recovery from alcoholism, and I've been sober 3.5 years, working the 12-step program, working principles. And that led to a spontaneous spiritual awakening. I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't realize, when it happened, it was such an event, a life-changing event, that of course it was only natural for me afterwards, in the post-awakened part, to explore what are the 12 steps, what are spiritual principles in relation to this liberated awareness. And life changed quite suddenly. And then it wasn't long after that, about a year or so, 2 years after that, a year and a half after that, I'd been training as a counselor, as an addictions counselor, which took me to work in prisons, delivering drug rehabilitation programs in prisons. And it was while I was there, working with a really good team of counselors, that I kind of learned everything that a counselor needs to learn, when dealing with addicts or dealing with people with interpersonal problems. And I spent 4.5 years, working as a therapist, working in a good team of people, learning lots of stuff. And it was while I was here that I learned really what therapy was. And learning in what therapy was, I learned also that it's not the same as inquiry. It's not the same as meditation. It's not the same, with therapy, we're learning how to become congruent in ways that we develop congruent means of expression, teaching people how to get honest with what they really feel, with their emotions, how to become congruent in the way that you assemble your thoughts that relate a real feeling in the body. So I realized, but after 4.5 years, I realized that, with therapy, in that type of therapy, we were not looking for an honesty of awareness, just open awareness. What I got from the self-realization itself was this honesty of awareness, realized, undifferentiated awareness being the root source of experience. I wasn't seeing how the outer forms that we were looking at in therapy, how they were starting to associate to awareness being experience. Instead, with therapy, awareness is always given to the subject, self-conscious element of the person. So they're becoming conscious of maybe certain dishonesties in the body. But I found it was just going into the mind, and then from a mental perspective, learning to live again, with developing a better sense self, a more congruent sense self. And of course, this is absolutely right. This is what therapy is, and this is what it should be. But I wanted to know how can we take that process of interpersonal analysis and actually bring it into a deeper association to awareness being the root source of experience. So I began to explore that, and in doing that, I kind of, first of all, explored the 12 steps, saw how that pointed at an honesty to a being level. So then taking it into therapeutic methods that I learned to a being level. And that's kind of what I do now. So if you see a video that I put up, I'm trying to explain how, from the perspective of realized consciousness, meditation itself, how that really is the root source of everything. Not everything has to go to our mind taking the experience. It can always come back to consciousness being the root source of experience. So we're looking for a different type of congruence rather than, you know, developing an ongoing story of one's own recovery. It's just about waking up to our central being, being the root source, and seeing how patterns actually change when they're observed without even having to think about them. This is what interests me. This is what fascinates me. So this is what I'm doing. I'm a therapist, counselor, trained, right? That's what I do. I had the self-realization in 99, and this is where I'm at right now. This is what I like to explore. This is what I like to look at. And if people like to join me, they're more than welcome. And we have fun doing that. You know, we don't take it too seriously. Because really, you know, it's like anything, you know, children learn through play, children learn through experimentation. I take the same approach, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's me. That's where I'm at. That's kind of what I do. So when you see a short clip that I do, usually it's just taken from a talk, but basically it's all about how is awareness the root source, and as awareness being the root source, remaining as awareness, how do our forms change? What is it we let go of? What is it we let in? What is it? What is direct experience? All of these things come into question. This is what I like to explore. So anyway, there we are. That's me. Um, you know, I'm not a guru. Um, I'm not anything other than Steve, who had a self-realization, trained to be a therapist, and I like to do this exploration. So there you go. Stay tuned. There's a lot more to come, whether you like it or not.